of the NRG Championship. This is the culmination of all of the championship trials. The top 16 best Magic players Nerd Rage Gaming has to offer. Matt, are you ready?
I'm ready. I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning, and definitely, definitely had a nice breakfast. So
Good.
yeah, let's watch Magic. I'll talk about it.
I'm excited. I hope everyone else is. We've got our first feature match of the standard format variety. We're going to see Chris Smith on Mardu Vehicles, Matt Dow on White Black Humans. Let me get that timer in there.
Let's get
I'm already
yeah,
screwing
let's
up.
get a little time going.
There we go.
So yeah, definitely two decks that not not necessarily solidified themselves in standard. Uh, More on the brew spectrum.
Hmm.
Mardu Vehicles is probably better when the format first started. Kind of lost favor to the stabilizing powers of the green black decks and the blue white decks, and white black humans more or less is just Matt Dow playing mono white. That's what Matt Dow does.
Yeah.
We're splashing black for I honestly I don't even know. I don't even know if there's much there.
You know what the black is good for? Kimball, the Kaladesh card,
Sure.
which I don't know what his power and toughness is. His casting cost is colorless, black white. I believe he's a 2/3.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever your opponent plays a non creature spell, they lose 2 life and you gain 2 life.
Seems pretty good.
It does seem good.
Seems pretty good for a aggressive white deck.
Mm.
Getting a black-ish ability incorporated into it,
I think the
especially when it's gain and drain.
yeah, the
Um,
life gain seems pretty good.
Definitely. What about Chris? Because I mean, he's more or less also playing a pretty aggressive deck here. So, who wins the aggro matchup here when one of them's three color and one of them is more or less monocolor?
I I think it comes in two different ways, right? Like Chris has the ability to play cards like Unlicensed Disintegration, which give him kind of extra reach and removal against Matt's creatures, but Matt can just flood the board and go wide
Mm-hmm.
when Chris takes the turn off to remove said creatures. So,
Sure.
I mean, I've seen Matt Dow do a pretty good job using this deck to completely just blank removal
Mm-hmm.
by evading, you know, 2 to 3 creatures onto the board. That's it. His opponent, he plays a 1 drop. His opponent doesn't do anything for turn 1. He plays another 1 drop. His opponent for turn 2 has to spend 2 mana to remove one of the 1 drops. Then on his turn 3, he plays a 1 drop and a 2 drop, or a 1 drop and a pump spell. And
Or
then on
three one drops.
yeah, or 3 1 drops. Yeah, I mean it's funny,
Yeah.
but honestly, that's the truth. Like that's what the deck does. And then on turn 4, if he's got the time, he casts a Gideon, or he casts a 1 drop and always watching. Or I mean, the deck can do multiple things. So
Certainly. Well, unfortunately for this game one, Dow is now in a mulligan to five. He was looking at six with no lands, and same with his five. So he is gonna have to go down to four.
yeah, that which is rough.
A
I
little
mean,
rough.
but once again, like you said, you're playing a mono white, almost mono white weenies deck at this point, right?
Yeah, it's certainly something he can come back from. Um, I mean, if Chris has a pretty juicy hand, I think he really only needs one removal spell at this point.
Sure.
He could probably get ahead pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But it's one game. It's a best of three. Matt Dow could easily come back, especially if he drops this game one and goes on the play. He's pretty poised to take, I think, game two. Looks like he found something acceptable. There's at least a land and a one drop. It's going to be Expedition Envoy.
Hmm.
Just a 2-1. Why not?
I mean, that's what the deck is, though. That's
Here's the 2-1, and I have two cards in hand. I mean, yeah, all right. Pretty good for a mulligan. Chris gonna start out with a concealed courtyard. There's a Toolcraft exemplar from a shambling vent. So Matt Dow just right out of the woods from this mulligan to four. Chris will drop to 18 from that attack. And that's Matt Dow's turn. Chris gonna drop an Aether Hub. We'll get the energy.
first Aether Hub of the day.
Oh, I'm sure we'll see
Yeah,
plenty
I
more.
gotta imagine.
Chris's turn two will be a Smuggler's Copter.
Oh my gosh, this is this is
Matt Dow
savage.
will follow up with his own smuggler's copter, which pumps his toolcraft exemplar, comes across for 5.
Are you kidding? So this is
It's white weenies, man. I'm
right.
telling
This is
you.
the power of this style of deck. Is you're on a Molda 4 and you have what could possibly one of the most aggressive
It's
starts.
probably you probably couldn't ask for a better Ford, to be honest with you.
The funny part is too.
I mean,
I can't,
he drew that copter for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Like,
Oh, easily.
so you're definitely praying to the top deck gods, and he's doing it. So Chris is gonna follow up here. He will get a cultivator's caravan and a Thraben inspector for his turn 3.
That's a card that's picked up a lot of popularity recently. That Cultivator's Caravan.
The card's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a mana rock or it's a 5/5. I mean, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty solid
Very
card.
very versatile card, and now Chris is starting to kind of build up a little counteractive board state. He's got a creature there. He can block with a copter this turn, which should help him a little bit. Let's see what Matt Dow does here with his turn 4.
I think the problem is, once again, like this is this type of style of play that Matt's deck preys on
Mm-hmm.
because Chris had to take a turn off to
To play the
play a
caravan.
caravan, make
Yeah.
sure he also then had a creature to pilot this copter
Sure.
if he's going to battle Dow's board.
Yeah. Thalia's lieutenant gonna hit the board for Matt. That's not bad.
Oh,
We
jeez.
get to pump a little bit. So Matt not gonna crew. He's just bashing, and nothing wrong with that. Again, a pumped up Toolcraft exemplar that should have a counter on it, or is it not a human?
Toolcraft exemplar? It might
Yeah.
be a dwarf.
Okay. So good on Matt Dow. It's still a 3/2 at this point.
Yes.
Seems fine to me. Also getting in with another 3/2 Expedition Envoy.
Yeah, dwarf artificer
All right.
is the text there.
Well, that's kind of a flavor miss for the white black humans deck.
I
But
agree.
I get it. I get why it's there. The card's pretty good.
Card is pretty solid.
So yeah, looks like Matt Dow's attacks just happen. No blocks from Chris, and he drops down to 7.
I think that's safe. I think Matt was trying to bait out Chris activating the smuggler's copter and
Sure.
trading with one of his 3 drops.
Yeah, most definitely. Generally, if Matt Dow is the only one with a smuggler's copter after that, he's already kind of far ahead on life total,
Right.
and getting the only other flying like threat off the board is pretty much
Fairly
game.
good, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I guess chumping with Thraven Inspector at that point isn't great yet. Maybe see what he can do this next turn. He'll get a veteran motorist,
I think Chris does
or
have
is that a Inventor's Apprentice?
that's
Just a 1/2?
Inventor's Apprentice.
Yeah,
Veteran
1/2.
Modus is the white red, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, we got an Inventor's Apprentice. That's pretty nice though. That can crew the copter
Yep.
and actually outdo Matt's copter.
I think
So
Chris has
that's
a copy of Unlicensed Disintegration in his hand as well.
that's
That
a
he's
nice one.
moved to the front.
Mm-hmm. Can't cast it just yet. Well, he can. He's got Cultivator's Caravan.
Yeah,
So there you go.
which is nice if Matt doesn't think about that and can power the red mana he needs.
Yeah, certainly.
It's kind of a sly play by Chris using the Aether Hub to play a card that he needed a red mana for, so now it kind of looks like shields are down, but
Yeah.
Matt-
I wonder if Matt, sort of read that.
he's taking a cautious approach. Oh boy,
That'll be a Thalia.
that's a good card.
That card is pretty good. I don't know if it might be a little too late. It's generally best on turn 3 when it can, be most oppressive. Chris more or less has, the board established here, and he's probably just going to disintegrate it.
I would think so. Or do you target the Thalia's lieutenant?
Oh, Thalia's is a 2/2 right now. I think the Cathar is the most oppressive
Sure.
at this point, so yeah, I can agree with that play on Chris's side. Chris with a copter and a clue, so he does also get to 3 Dow. And Chris will take his turn. So yeah, even for an aggressive deck here, Chris more or less playing the stabilizing game. Yeah, both players just unwilling to send in copters. And Chris isn't really in a position where he can, alpha or anything like that. So really looking for something to break stride here. Looks like a scrap heap scrounger.
It's interesting. I didn't know this deck's played that card.
I mean, it's an artifact.
Don't get me wrong.
Helps the
Love the card. I mean, I'm a huge fan of that in standard. I just
yeah, like a reoccurring. You could use it to crew stuff.
yeah,
You can use it to crew Sky Sovereign.
sure.
Um, crew the Cultivator's Caravan. I think just the fact that it's also an artifact just really helps this deck. I mean, you've got Unlicensed Disintegration. Um, we've seen how good that card is.
That card is very strong.
So yeah, it is an interesting play. I mean, it's not like the best suited deck for this card, but definitely does work for it. It's a more aggressive card, aggressive deck. Chris gonna pop a clue here. So yeah, Matt Dow knows there's not much he can do.
I think he's just
Nope.
got to wait, right? Like
Yeah, he needs something to break stride. Maybe like a removal spell of some sort would help
stasis
here.
snare.
A stasis snare, yeah, or a declaration in stone.
Sure.
He's probably just waiting for that. That would certainly help. So the creature that can't block is just gonna get in there. Matt Dow lets it through.
I think that's the other thing too. He just has to wait to kind of prey on Chris to make a poor attack or make a poor crew.
Sure. Doesn't look like it's happening though, and
I,
Chris gets himself another scrap heap. So
yeah.
he's got the options now. Again, he can crew this caravan. He's got plenty of creatures to crew his copter. He can save his Inventor's Apprentice to outgrow Matt's copter.
Hmm.
He's just got the right mix of stuff that he's kind of been able to stabilize. And he has the card advantage just innately.
Right.
Matt Dow, even though he mulliganed to 4, had a great start, just doesn't really have the cards to kind of punch through that last bit of damage. So once again, Chris is just attacking with his scrap heaps. I mean, all the same, they can't block. They are good for crewing, but I think Chris
Oh
has a board
boy.
state at this point that he's more or less able to cover all angles, and Gideon is certainly going to help him do that.
I would think so. That card is very good.
It is.
Like it's just super strong.
I wouldn't be surprised to see it in all 3 formats today,
Oh boy.
in some capacity. So Matt Dow, that would be
It's the flip, right? The rabble mob or whatever it is. Or,
yeah, Town Gossip Monger.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the one.
Rabble mob. They
Rabble
into,
mobber
they,
mabber.
they flip into something like that. Chris Smith
Town
concerned.
Town Massive Momber.
Chris Smith concerned flipping the card upside down.
Yeah, it is. It's not a card you see normally. Definitely good in the old draft. He's going to use it to crew the copter.
Yep.
So yeah, I think Matt Dow he kind of knows
Against the fence here.
he's against it. So he's just looking for answers at this point. Chris gonna just crew with a Thraben Inspector to trade.
I think that's a safe bet with Gideon on the board.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, but all the same, like he could just use his Inventor's Apprentice, and just his copter lives.
Is that what Inventor's Apprentice does?
Yeah, it gives
Oh.
it gives +1/+1 when it crews.
Oh, does it? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
But
I thought it got it. I thought it got +1/+1 if you controlled like an artifact. I think veteran modus.
okay,
Veteran motorist
you're
is
right.
the one.
Yeah, I'm still getting those two confused.
No, which,
Yeah,
come on.
dude, I haven't played in like 6 months. Who's playing Mardu vehicles?
Who are these people?
Who are these
Yeah,
savages?
so
All
Inventor's
yeah,
Apprentice becomes a 2/3 if you control an
if
artifact.
you have an artifact.
That's all right. We all make mistakes.
We do. And I'm certainly going to make a whole lot more today, guys. So don't even sweat it.
At least you know the names of the cards. I know the pictures, but I have no idea what they're called.
You know what? In some weird way, we'll get there.
Well, yeah, we'll get through this.
The two of us together, we'll combine.
I'd,
We'll
I'd,
fusion. We'll get it done.
I'd still like to point out that this is a game from Matt Dow and a mull of 4. So,
I mean, he's made the most of it.
easily.
He's not commanding this game at this point, but for a Mold of 4, it was a very
It was
impressive
pretty
start.
good.
definitely.
Also, Thali's Lieutenant. That card is very good.
Yes. Yes, it is. Especially when, you drop it on time and it's
Mm.
backed up by a flooded board state of creatures.
So here comes.
So we're going to activate Shambling Vent.
Yeah.
Are we going for it?
Well, this is a
Is it?
ballsy attack from Chris. I mean, he's putting himself out there with this.
It's true.
Leaving back the
Plus,
caravan.
plus Gideon. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. He can crew it. I mean, he's got enough creatures that he could activate it if he needed to, but yeah, I think if Matt Dow is looking for a way to get rid of at least one of these scrap heaps, because I mean, he's dead eventually if he doesn't.
Well, that's a play. I mean, he's kind of calling the bluff here that Chris doesn't have another unlicensed disintegration.
But he has a veteran motorist.
Right, which is good because it just lets him scry.
Yeah, and which we all know now
Mm.
is a 3/1.
Right.
It scries 2, and when this crews, it gives vehicles.
So now,
+1,
if Dow top decks a removal spell, oh god, Chris had a Thopter too. Good lord.
Yeah, Chris has it.
I
Chris
would
has it
believe
at this
so.
point. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Too much for Matt Dow on a mulligan to 4.
Chris will pick it up.
Certainly can't blame him for it.
Not at all.
He made a great game of it.
I think honestly that was as far as mulls to 4 go, that was pretty good.
As good as it gets.
All right.
I hear those ancient legends about people winning on mulls to 4. I'm sure that's how it's done.
Should we check out the Mardu vehicles deck first?
Yeah,
Is that
let's
what we
check
want to
it
look at? We can go over the sideboards with you guys at home as we have some very nice deck lists. I'm gonna, boom, there you go. See, you found it.
Let's give it a good old checkaroo.
There you go. Up, and it's not resized at all, but we can fix that real fast.
You gotta love round 1.
You got it. Yeah, round 1 is really just
See, we don't get to like
boom.
we don't get to like pre-test this stuff.
We don't.
We do it live.
I thought I did for the modern and legacy decks, but I guess I didn't.
That's fine. We'll get there. So yeah, you guys can see it before you just as well as we can. This is Mardu Vehicles, very aggressive deck.
Yeah.
Backed up by its namesake, vehicles in the form of Smuggler's Copter, Cultivator's Caravan,
For sure.
and a bevy of creatures that
Just make them good.
make
right?
them good and make the deck itself very aggressive. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got Toolcrafts, Inventor's Apprentice, which, as we now know, very effective creature with an artifact. Also backed up by removal in the form of Unlicensed Disintegration, which
Great
is
card.
generally removal plus burn. Always a good thing.
That was one
Here's-
of your favorite cards, yeah? When
Yeah.
the set was
Oh, yeah,
released?
for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely picked it up, definitely brewed around it, and then ended up playing green-black.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
It's the way things go. Something interesting to point out here from Chris's deck, he does have 4 Spirebluff Canals in his land base,
Yeah.
which, as a Mardu deck makes no sense, but you go over to his sideboard, you can see that he has 4 Ceremonious Rejection.
Yeah. Good
So,
card to play, obviously.
yeah, I think any deck that hedges, blue or has blue innately is running this card. Not sure. It could do some work here if Chris wants to side it in. Don't know if it's like bring all 4 of them in. Declaration in Stone, 1 Fragmentize, 4 Galvanic Bombardment, 2 Gideon, 2 Sky Sovereign.
I honestly think the Galvanic Bombardments
Mhm.
and probably the Sky Sovereigns would be the cards that I'd be looking at just because of their ease at removing most of Matt's threats. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. The cheaper removal spells are great. You could make a case for like the Declaration in Stones, but I also think Unlicensed Disintegration just does
A ton of work.
great work here.
Jeez.
Not sure if much has to change there. So we're just
really-
gonna have to do this all 3 rounds. So we can check out Matt Dow's here, and very similar in a way to the Mardu vehicles.
Yeah.
It does have Smuggler's Copters. It's running Toolcrafts. Very similar creature base. His being more white based, more aggro based. Things like 1-drops, 1/2/1. Thraben Inspector, the 1/2 that gives you a clue, great card. Toolcraft. Town Gossipmonger, which flips.
So he doesn't have the Kimbals in this list anymore. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Because I feel like that card did
Hedged him
work
out.
for him.
I mean, yeah, you can. There's nothing in his main deck.
Yeah.
With the exception of Scrap Heap Scrounger,
How
that really
crazy.
warrants the black. He does get the Shambling Vent, which he can activate, but you look at his sideboard. I'm gonna start from the bottom up because
Okay.
that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Transgress the Mind, definitely worth splashing black for, depending on the field. We are entering a meta that was dominated by a big Eldrazi type deck.
Yep.
Um, you know,
Stasis Snare, obviously very good.
Stasis Snare would be good. I'd definitely bring that in here. I like the Selfless Spirits, and I like Matt having his own Gideons. I mean,
I think
we
that's
saw the
true.
work that card did.
Yeah.
We'll see how it breaks. Matt Dow most likely going to be on the play here. He might just be looking to go super aggressive like that game one.
Sure.
This time, hopefully, he can keep more than just 4 cards, though. Looks like Chris is happy with 7. Matt Dow going down to 6.
I think if you're Met, you probably bring in the Gideons, yeah?
Yeah, 100%.
I would think so. I would think you would bring in the Gideons, and I don't think Transgress is great here.
Not here, no. I get why he threw it in there. I get why he dedicated 4
Oh,
slots
sure.
to it.
Yeah, it makes sense. This isn't the matchup for it. The Gideons seem really strong here, and then maybe bring in the extra decks.
Yeah,
I
like
don't,
it seemed like he didn't really have that punch,
yeah,
to really break through that last bit of damage he needed, and Gideon will certainly do that as a more aggressive. He'll play it more aggressively as a planeswalker in this build.
I gotta imagine if he would have found an always watching,
Hmm.
that would have been a really good.
Definitely. So Matt Dow is actually happy with 6.
Ooh,
Chris gets to start with a Toolcraft Exemplar. Matt Dow will take his turn 2. Doesn't look like he's got land number 2. Hardly a problem, though. Most of his creatures are 1 or 2 drop.
yeah.
He gets to follow up with a Toolcraft of his own. So more or less, Matt Dow is on the draw for this game at this point. Chris Smith going to follow up with Thraben Inspector, which gives a clue, which makes Toolcraft a 3/2.
Jeez.
You gotta love that synergy.
Yeah, that's pretty good. God, he needs to find land though. I mean, as resilient as his deck is,
Yep. And Matt Dow just following suit with his own, punching in for 3 as well. And now Chris has the Spire Bluff. Got access to that blue mana. I wonder if Matt suspects something at this point.
I don't know. He saw it last game, yeah, or not?
I'm not sure.
No, I think it
wasn't.
was. I'm sorry. I think it was Plains, Concealed Courtyard, Aether
Yeah.
Hub,
Yeah, he had
Inspiring Vantage.
yeah, he hadn't given that away.
God, this is nuts.
So Caravan into another Toolcraft. That's not too shabby. Players just punching for 3
boy.
each here on the back of a 1-drop.
He's gotta find this. Like,
So yeah, Matt Dow gets the crutch right back. Still missing land, but still able to play something every turn.
yeah.
He gets himself a 2/1.
I mean, how debilitating is it? And granted, I don't know if he brought him in, but if Chris goes land, tap 4 land, tap the Caravan Sky Sovereign here,
Oh yeah,
like that's a brutal play to come back from. Or he might just play this Gideon he's got lined up in front.
I'm all on board for that too. We're gonna go Aether Hub. We'll get ourselves an energy.
I mean, he could Gideon this turn, Emblem Gideon, make his Toolcraft exemplars 4/3s. Like, I mean, this is tough. Yeah, this will be.
Seems good.
Yeah,
He
that'll be
already
a rough
knows.
ski. Matt Dow. He knew. He saw, unfortunately. Just couldn't find that site. He needed that second land so bad.
Sure.
Just to even pop the clue. He had an always watching in the deck, and I just don't think it was going to get there for him.
Yeah, too little, too late. Even if he found land at that point,
Let's.
we saw Gideon tear him apart game 1. It's most likely gonna do it for game 2.
I would think so. Let's hope I did. You think I got these right? Nope. Nope. Didn't get those right either. How? I feel like I did this all, but
I'm sure
maybe-
you did.
oh, whoa, whoops. That's the deck. I'm sorry. God, come on, guys.
It's
What-
round. It's
What do
round
we?
1.
It's round 1. I got to work out the kinks. All right. Let's see if we got this.
It's not right.
Nope.
Hello, Chris Smith.
There we go. Now we can take a look at Chris
I
Smith.
like your pixelated hair, buddy.
Yeah, he's the winner of our first round today for the championship event here at Nerd Rage Gaming. You can see he's the February CT champion. So let's bring up that.
Yep. First one to qualify.
he was.
Our first CT. It was standard. And yeah,
No, it was Modern, wasn't it? That he won? I think he won Modern with the Eldrazi deck. That was Eldrazi Windard. He battled Karavitas in the finals.
I'm sure you have the list somewhere.
Do I?
Yeah, it says. Oh yeah, you're right. It was Modern.
Yeah,
Crushed it.
yeah.
Crushed it with
See,
Modern.
come on, man. I know some of these things.
You do.
But
You do. You do. 10 months later. But yeah, one of our hometown heroes.
He is.
One of our regulars.
what a good guy.
Top 64 to GP Cincinnati. Top 32 to an Open at Legacy.
And one lifetime pro point.
1 pro point.
Record
Smart.
versus the field. Oh
Oh
no.
no. Go figure.
Let's take a look at our other player this round. Who else do we have? We had Matt Dow, right? Oh,
Mhm.
whoops. Do I have Matt Dow? Yeah, we do. Here he is. Take a look at this guy.
See that you got sized correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, another hometown hero and regular. This was a battle of the regulars.
This
as it
was. Yeah,
were.
for sure.
Matt Dow with a top 16 at an Open. Also commentates
Yeah.
for us.
Sometimes.
Yeah, once in a while.
Used to back in the day.
So good on him. It's a great time.
It
We
was.
get to watch Magic and talk about it.
It's definitely good. I can't complain. So let's see. Now we can go probably back to our screen here, as that was round one of Standard. Now, do we have the layout for the tournament? Were you informed about the layout?
I got briefed.
Do you want to run me through that? Because I was not.
Okay, so we're gonna have a 9-round Swiss today.
Okay.
Each format will be three. We'll have 3 rounds.
3 rounds. Okay.
If you 3-0 a format,
Okay.
you qualify for top 8.
Gotcha.
Now, mathing here, doing the math right, 2 people will have records of 3-0
Correct.
from each
Each.
format.
Right.
So that will get 6 spots for our top 8 today.
Gotcha.
The remaining 2 spots for top 8
Yep.
are based on overall record throughout the
Okay.
tournament.
Sure.
So
sure.
if you just 9-0 this thing,
Yep.
and obviously you've already qualified once,
Right.
your record is no longer relevant, and it defers down.
Interesting.
So based on
Okay.
whoever has the best record minus people who have already qualified, will get those last 2 spots.
Very cool. Okay.
So there's definitely incentive to
battle it out.
battle out entirely throughout the tournament.
Of course.
As
yeah.
well as, if you are if you fancy yourself a solid Standard player or a solid Modern player,
Right.
you 3-0 that, you get into our
Into the
top 8.
Very
And we
interesting.
can definitely discuss, the top 8 when the time comes.
Yeah, for sure.
But that definitely has some intricacies as well. So it should be a good one.
Very cool. All right. Well, we're going to be back in just a minute with your round 2 of Standard, and then we'll have an additional round of Standard.
Correct.
And then shortly move into Modern. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Legacy, I'm assuming after Modern.
Yep.
So we'll definitely have more Magic on the way for you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I know it's an early morning broadcast, so we're going to try to make it through. Hopefully make a cup of coffee here and see if I can't resize some images better. But we'll be back with you guys in just a little bit. Nerd Rage Gaming is proud to announce the NRG Championship Trials, a tournament series featuring monthly $1,000 cash events with rotating formats. These events allow players to experience higher level tournaments close to home. A point structure that is easy to understand for both new and professional players. And finally, to top it off, a 16-person $2,500 championship event at the end of the year, utilizing a unique tournament structure. Be sure to stay tuned to social media for information regarding NRG Championship Trials.